Hello and good evening from Germany. This is Jonathan Quell Higgins III, live streaming here from Hamburg. Oh my God, what happened here? Okay, we have an echo. The echo is done. Yes. I'm live streaming here. Thank you very much for the flowers. Not sure if I can hold up to that because Danger Will Robinson is a little bit skeptic. I'm posting the link in the comments. I've also posted the link to a couple of my friends. Let's see how that goes. So yes, I was just in the mood for doing a stream tonight, and I thought, why not? So big news today. Not sure if everybody has seen it. Vacheron made the news today by introducing the 222, and let's have a look how that looks here. So I should have done that in my clickbait title, but you know that I'm stupid. I'm not really internet savvy, and basically I don't care how many people are watching or not. This is just for fun. So 222 again. A little bit of a history for the 222nd anniversary of Vacheron. They recreated the 222. That was in the year 2022. No, that was in the year 19. One second. Okay, hold on the horses again. For the 222nd anniversary of Vacheron, they introduced the first 222 watch. That was in 1977, if I remember correctly. The AP Royal Oak was introduced 1974. Nautilus came 1976. The engineer at the same year or the year later. So Vacheron were late, but they completed the Holy Trinity with Royal Oak, Nautilus, and then, of course, a stainless steel integrated bracelet model had to be introduced. So this Vacheron back then had the same size, just like today's release, 37 millimeters. The watch was 7 millimeters thick. Today it is 7.8. They claim that that is due to the glass crystal and also the modernized movement. Now, when we're talking about the movement, this is, in my opinion, the weak point of this particular movement because let's have a look here. Where is it? I prepared everything, but sometimes you're over-prepared. So here we have the legendary caliber 920 from JLC, which Vacheron called the 1120, but it's virtually the same ébauche or main base movement. Here you can see the original 222 looks virtually similar to the actual. You will notice here the date window is a little bit touching the minuterie. They changed that with the reissue. Other than that, the concept of the watch is still the same. That is the old steel watch, two-hander, not three-hander, no automatic or no second hand. That used to be because the JLC movement didn't have a central second hand. I don't think that it even was prepared for the second hand at 6. So you identify those APs, those Nautilus, and also those 222 by the lack of a second hand. Here you can see the original Nautilus, and here you can see the original AP. All of them with a date window very far outside and no second hand. Now, all of them had the beautiful JLC base caliber 1120, and let's have a look. I think I have to scroll down here a little bit. That is Vacheron, that is AP. Where is the JLC version? Well, they didn't have a JLC version, so I can search longer. So that is the latest version of this particular movement from AP with a beautiful AP rotor. So how do you identify this particular movement? You have to keep in mind that this watch is this movement is super slim. I said it previously, the Vacheron was 7 millimeters thin, and this automatic movement was less than 4 millimeters thin. Now, how can you achieve that with such a big rotor? Because if you only have a central axis, that rotor will start to wiggle around. Now, what JLC did, and AP and Vacheron and also Patek Philippe, they used this kind of ring. There is an internal ring that you see here that goes through that entire rotor, and then the rotor mass is screwed on here with those screws. Now, why use that ring? It's very easy. That ring rolls on, and there is a rare picture of the rotor disassembled. I'm not sure if you can see that. I have a bigger picture somewhere, but as you know, I'm over prepared. Oh, here it is. Okay, so here is the picture of a skeletonized movement. I didn't find the picture of a normal movement, but my point is, or why I want to show that to you, is here you see a ruby roller. And that is where that metal ring is positioned against the movement for not touching the movement parts. And you will see 1, 2, 3, 4 ruby rollers that basically keep that metal ring and the entire rotor away from the movement and keeps it stable, because otherwise you only have that central pivot here which holds the rotor, and that will not be enough. Now let's switch again to the finished movement picture, so that you can see here the ring that goes around. So here you can see the steel ring that is going all the way around, and that stabilizes the rotor and keeps the movement super flat but super efficient with that central rotor. So yeah, so who's joining us here in the comments? Rich Mitch is saying may join a little bit later. I'm looking forward to that. Joseph D is saying this is a layup for VC, will be a home run. I agree, and I was, sometimes I'm a little bit nasty. We are all hearing that the business for the Swiss watch manufacturer is not very good. So the companies that are least affected by the bad markets, of course, are the super high-end luxury brands. Recep and Simon Brett don't have problems selling their watches. Pretty sure Greubel Forsey, F. Peugeot and Richard Mille also don't have a problem selling their watches. However, let me point out, in my opinion, Richard Mille is not high horology, but it's super luxury, and that's why they are still able to sell those watches for those crazy prices. Now, less affected are also Rolex, of course, Patek Philippe, but in my opinion, Vacheron will suffer and is already suffering. So the speculation was they will delay the 222 in steel for quite some time, but I think the fact that the 222 is now presented 3 years after they presented the yellow gold watch speaks to the market really being bad, and Vacheron virtually be starving to have a model that is higher in demand. I can see a lot of Vacheron watches not being that desirable anymore, or not that easy to be sold. Michael W. from Hamburg is saying, hello Higgins, moin moin. Michael also says, love the two-hand configuration way better. And Michael learned here the ring moves with the rotor. Yes, 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 that's exactly right. And the ring is a very important part of that movement. Here you can see the old AP configuration with this particular movement. That is basically how they looked like, all with that big block, with that big central piece on the rotor, then an applied mass in fine gold to make it more efficient. But all of them are common here with that ring. And there is also a picture of the Patek Philippe from the Jumbo. Here you can see the same specifics here with this ring going around, basically the same configurations, just like with AP. Now, this movement never was in a JLC watch. It was too expensive, and it was exclusively for the high-end manufacturers, for the Holy Trinity. I don't remember that any other brand used this ébauche, but maybe someone will correct me later on that. So as far as I know, that JLC 920 movement was exclusive for the Holy Trinity, never been used by JLC. That is what I know for sure. Okay, let's go back to the 222 and let's pull it up. Okay, now that was a little bit of an excursion to the old 222. You saw the configurations. You also saw the yellow gold Maltese cross here at that position, unchanged. Now, what you also have to know, many people put the 222 into the basket of Geralgenta, just like the design of the Royal Oak and the Nautilus. That is not the case. The 222 has been designed by a man called Jörg Hüsek, Swiss guy, very young back then, very dynamic, and I think it shows a little bit in his watch, which is a little bit more progressive, but didn't age well, because the 222 was never really a big winner, and it was discontinued at some time. And now comes another mistake. I read it today a couple of times. So the 222 is the predecessor of the overseas, and that is not the case, because there was a stop in between, and that step in between was called the Phidias. That was the watch that followed the 222. I've put up a more modern version of this watch. Keep in mind, it was quartz crisis on the highest level. Two-tone was a way to sell watches. Those were all relatively small. And the Phidias, I remember that because I was selling those, or I was trying to sell those, and those were really difficult. The overseas that came then later, replaced the Phidias, was a little bit easier to sell, but still not a good seller. So the history is 222, then this Phidias, and then we are talking about the overseas. Now let me go back to the 222 here, the current 222. So I was talking about the movement, the legendary JLC movement, and that is my main point of criticism here on the current 222. I'm not a big fan of this movement. I know that it has the Geneva seal. Yes, you can see it here, the Geneva seal. I think the rotor is just boring, even though they put a little bit of an effort in using here that pattern, that knurling that is also found on the bezel. But I think Vacheron could have put a little bit more effort into this particular movement. Also, the movement is relatively small. Let's have a look here. I don't have the figure here in mind. Yeah, it's 26.2 millimeters. I've been criticizing Patek Philippe for years for using the 240 and also their 26 movement, and keeping the diameter at 27 millimeters. So of course I have to call out Vacheron for that small movement, and it shows because there is a massive ring on the case back around this movement to hide a little bit that the fact that the movement is relatively small. I give Vacheron credit for being courageous enough to keep this at the old size, that is 37 millimeters. Compare that with 41 millimeters, for example, for a Royal Oak, and I think it is a beautiful watch. It looks really nice on wrists. Let's have a look if we see a wrist shot here. I think there is nothing to complain about the design and everything. It's really beautiful. Now, another detail that has changed over the original overseas is here the construction of the movement, because you have here a triple case now. So you have the bezel, you have the case mid, and you have a separate case back here. The original over 222 had a closed case back, and not only that, it was a monocoque case. So the case mid and the case back were one piece, and you had to access the movement from the top, not from the bottom, just like with this particular watch. And we have Patel Philippe here. Guten Tag. May join in 20 to 25 minutes. Just gonna finish a few things on my side. I'm pretty sure Patel Philippe was already at McDonald's and got some chicken McNuggets, just like he usually does. Not sure if I'm on air in 25 minutes, because that is supposed to be a short one. Okay, so we've been talking about the details here, the 222 Geneva seal on the case, also on the movement. Pricing is 35,000 euros or 32,000 US dollars plus sales tax. It is said to be non-limited but exclusive at the moment at VC boutiques. So that is the state of today. As far as I know, it's available just right now. You see the technical data again: 37 diameter, then 7.95 thickness. Also, a step back from the original 222 is the modern one is 50 meter water resistant. The old one was 120 meter water resistant. And another criticism: the crown doesn't lock. Now, and when we're talking about negative points, there is another one, and I'm going to show you that. In my opinion, that bracelet tapers a little bit too much here on the side view. I think it would have been nicer to have a little bit less taper on this particular bracelet. I know that that is the same measurement in gold. Not sure why that is. My opinion, visually not pleasing. However, I'm pretty sure the bean counters will be happy, because you're saving a lot of gold, contrary if you are using less taper, which means more material then, and more expensive material. Now the price, 35,000 euros, is along the AP Royal Oak, and so I'm pretty sure it will sell quick here in the first year, maybe in the first 2 years. But my prediction is that it will tone down a little bit. The price is very steep for a steel watch, and I can't see that this hype will go on for a very long time. I think it's around 10,000 euros more than a comparable overseas, if I know that correctly. Now, what did I have here? Yeah, there was an Hodinkee article here, an ode to Vacheron, keeping this particular movement alive, and just some more pictures here from Hodinkee. You can see here the steel ring on the AP variant, and here Vacheron had it in the overseas, but are not using it anymore. You can see here the characteristic ring with the added rim here in fine gold. The Vacheron 22 carat. I saw Nautilus and AP 21 carat, but that is not really big. So I would have loved if Vacheron would have chosen this old movement, but Patek doesn't do it anymore. AP doesn't do it anymore. They have now a new movement. So AP does it with very small limited editions, but the predecessor of the Jumbo Royal Oak has a modern movement now. And Vacheron, unfortunately, doesn't do it as well. So it's more or less over here in normal watches, the perpetual calendar, watches, stainless steel sports models, and also precious metals. Not the AP and Vacheron are still using this particular movement. Okay, now let's go back to monochrome and let's present a shitter, because monochrome promoted one watch which I really like, and I know we're here at Elite Horology. However, when I like a cheaper watch, why not sharing it with the viewers? And monochrome just presented here this one, the Chronofix Asterix. Now, I know that this is a very European thing. Asterix, not sure how popular Asterix is in the United States. It's a cartoon figure, very iconic. Asterix is from a little village that is surrounded by Roman soldiers, and those galleons are fighting an internal fight against the evil Romans who are trying to annex their villages. Now, Asterix has a special drink, and one second, I'm gonna increase here the size here so that you can see it here. So Asterix always has that little bottle here with a magic drink that gives him superpower, because he is hello Mr. GMT, good evening, and the link is pinned. You can curse me out. So open shifter, it is open shitter, I think he means. Okay, so Asterix always has that little green bottles that gives him superpower. And then he can fight the Romans. Now here, this particular watch is very interesting design. Reminds me very much of the CQ Glashütte Original. Of course, it's a cheaper watch. This is 400 euros. But I really like the design with the Roman numerals that is interrupted with those larger lume plots. And of course, Asterix is then using his superpower, and he hits the 8 here in the middle of the dial, which I really like. Also keep in mind, his arch enemies are the Romans. So of course, we are having here kind of Roman numbers. So here the X is Roman for 10, then the XX is Roman for 20. I don't know why they didn't here do 30, but that is X is XL. Oh God, my Roman is bad. I think L is 10, and I don't know what XL is. So, but my Roman is a little bit rusty. So yeah, I just like that dial, which is unusual, with that 8 that is out of place, because Asterix hit it out of the park. By the way, the date is also in Roman in Roman figures, so you have a little bit of exercise to do, and that goes well with the philosophy of having to engage with your watch a little bit more. I found that a neat piece of horology for 400 euros. Has a Seiko movement. Here you can see the lume, and you can order it just right now. I'm gonna post the link. One second. Where is the link? At Chronofix, and I'm posting the link here in the comments just in case. When you okay, Michael says XL is 40 and L is 50, of course. Did I make a mistake? Okay, whatever. So whole milk doesn't like what the corn does. I disagree. I think that's smashing here. Love it very much. But here it is. We have different opinions. Now I clickbaited you, or I turned you off with my clickbait. I'm having 11 viewers here, and I wanted to tell you a little bit of a story because I've been talking with a dear friend of mine about ladies' watches in the last couple of days, and I asked her, why are you not looking at Bida watches, Bida and Co? And here we are. Oh, we have a guest here. Please be kind. Please be kind. Hello, Mr. GMT.
Listen, I'm on my way to work. I almost had a fucking accident driving to work, listening to this bullshit. What the fuck are you showing us here, man? Is this elite horology or fucking the shitter house?
Your audio certainly had an accident. May I tell you that?
Well, that's normal.
Yeah, because you sound like you're talking to a tube.
Oh, well, shit happens.
You know, that is that. Do you realize that I always deflect from your rants by mentioning your audio quality, and then you're losing your energy and you're running basically flat. That is a well-proven strategy.
It's not running flat, but I do sound like shit, and I've accepted it. But I'm just saying, I'm driving to work, all right, and I almost fucking had an accident listening to this shit. I was trying to turn it off.
You had an accident, Mr. GMT?
No, I almost had an accident listening to this shit.
What happened at the accident?
I didn't have one. I almost had one.
Why did you have an accident? Tell me more about it.
Because I was trying to turn it off.
What did you try to turn off?
I was trying to text while I was driving down.
Why are you browsing in the internet while driving? Isn't that illegal in Australia?
Yeah, exactly, it is. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't do this at home, girls and boys.
Are you having your headphones on, or are you having it in the audio system here?
It's my car. It's my car audio system. Anyway,
so which shitter watch really kept you going? What was it, the Vacheron, or is it this Asterix watch that I just showed?
I didn't catch the Vacheron. I catch this shitter here.
Okay, what is the shitter about this? You have no idea who Asterix is for sure.
He gives a fuck. It's just shit.
Why is it shit?
Seriously.
He is loved by all people here in Europe.
Well, there's a lot of dumb fucks out there, isn't there?
Well, I'm certainly a dumb fuck, but this is something you have to prepare. You have to be a little bit open-minded. This is European culture. This is not Superman. This is European culture. And also a history lesson.
Fucking now you're making me speed. I almost went through a fucking red light camera. Jesus Christ, man. Fucking you're getting my blood pumping here. For fuck's sakes.
Actually, last week I was driving and had Patel Philippe on the phone, and I was caught in a speed trap.
Good, I'm glad it's on me anymore.
Well, yeah, you have a tradition of being the reason for several tickets that I paid dearly for. May I say that?
That's been a couple of years ago now, so it's all right. You're right there. I've got nothing to do with that anymore. So
that's okay.
So I'm gonna go. But did you talk about the Vacheron, the 222, the metal one?
It's not 222. It's 222.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you like it?
I love it.
Will you get one?
I love it. No, it's too expensive, man. It's out of my budget. Fuck.
Yeah, mine as well. But do you remember when in 2022 Swiss was in Geneva, and he was so keen of the 222 being presented because we had leaks, and I think I laid down why they will do the 222 based on their teaser pictures, and Swiss was ready to order a stainless steel, and he was super disappointed that they only made it in gold.
Well, hopefully he picks this. I doubt it's a bit pricey. I don't think he'll even grab the new one, the steel one. I don't think so. You think you'll buy one? I don't think so.
I don't know. Back then, he really loved this watch a lot, but 35K is a lot of money. I mean,
It's
we
a
were
lot of money.
we were expecting the gold one being 45 or something, and it was
Yeah,
80.
that's what I mean. It's overpriced, man. It's way overpriced for what you
Yeah.
get. You know
So,
what I
but
mean? So the reason why, honestly, I came on because I wanted to talk about this watch because I can't jump on many shows anymore. But this watch here, I love the steel one because it gave me the day-date vibes, the original one, the gold one that they brought out in 2002, right?
yeah,
And I'm a big fan of the day-date, as you know. But this one here really does it to me. It gives me that, I don't know, a little bit of a Rolex vibe, you know, Nautilus vibe sort of things, but it's in that range, you know what I mean?
how do
And
you like the
I think
tapering
I
of
do
of the bracelet?
that, but it's a little bit thick, like a little bit, but it's nice. So it goes
Thick?
too thick, but that's right. Yeah, because what happens is it's really thick at the top and thin down the bottom.
Yeah,
Too thick.
I think the tapering is too extreme, actually.
Yeah, it's too extreme. Yeah, that's what that's one of the things that I found on it as well. But you know what? They couldn't have brought it out at a better time because now Patek's taken the Nautilus off the steel Nautilus out of their range. Isn't that correct? Is that correct?
That is true. There is no steel Nautilus, but you can always buy a Cubitus.
Oh, fuck Cubans. This is nice. This here, I believe, will reign supreme as a filler for the Nautilus fans to actually buy. I believe anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point because now the Cubitus is new and hot, so Vacheron is well advised to have a super expensive steel watch to give a little bit of a counterpoint before Patek is eating their entire lunch.
Yeah. I think that done will bring in a perfect time. I believe it was strategically released now because of what happened with Patek. I believe anyway. That's just my thoughts. But who am I? I'm a complete bumfuck that doesn't know fuck all about watches. But that's just my thing. Okay.
Well, sometimes the dumbfuckery is not totally wrong. How do you like this one here? That is a 222 Cubitus.
I'm not a fan of the Cubitus. Not a fan.
No.
Too big for what
Have a look at the picture.
I can't. I'm driving.
Then stop.
I'm driving.
Stop and have a look at the image because
you may have an accident on the side of the road.
I found a picture of a vintage 222 that is square. It just looks like the Cubitus, but a little bit better.
I think it does. Now that I've stopped at the lights, yes, it does look much nicer.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
And it looks smaller too. It doesn't look as big.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. The screws are ugly, but I think with modern technology, you don't need those bolts in the corners.
I reckon that screws in the thing give it that industrial feel, and I really like that. I don't mind that actually.
Yeah, but industrial feel. If we're talking again about a $35,000 watch, I think in modern times.
This one's not a $35,000 watch because it doesn't exist now. Well, it does exist, but
don't you think that Vacheron is already working on a square one? I mean, the Cubitus is there, so I think Vacheron has to give a reply on that. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise. Look, it doesn't surprise me. But at the moment, they're concentrating on the 222, so
yeah,
I think that's where they're gonna. Like I said, they've strategically released it now because the fact is that Patek took the Nautilus, the steel Nautilus off their catalog. So that's my thoughts. That's my theories, guys. I've got to get to work, but thank you for giving me the time to talk about it because I don't get much time to jump on these shows. So. And this just came out fresh, so I really wanted to talk about it.
Thank you very much for hopping on. Please, for next time, fix your fucking audio. I don't know why.
No, I don't want to fix my fucking audio because it fucking annoys you. So you know what? You want to put out fucking shitters? Put up with my fucking audio.
When is Australia elevating from developing country with shitty internet, mobile,
I'm the one with shitty audio, and I do it on purpose just for you.
Are you having a cheap?
Fuckers!
Are you have a cheap? Are you have? Okay, he's gone. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I find the speculation, or it's not an official speculation, but that had me thinking. Okay, Vacheron will release the 222 in steel now, and I think it makes sense to try it then with a square one, because Patek can't be totally wrong with their assessment of the market. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vacheron I wouldn't be surprised if Vacheron wouldn't work on a 222 in square. Let me know what you think. Oh, lost now viewers. Mr. GMT was the main attraction here. Okay, let's go back to Basel. Basel in 1999, or the year was 1999. And I was in touch with a company called Beda & Co. Now, who is Beda & Co? Beda & Co, first of all, is Madame Simone Beda, who unfortunately deceased a couple of years ago. Madame Beda was the co-founder of Raymond Weil, and she held parts of the company. And I think in 1996, she left Raymond Weil and got a huge payout together with her son, Christian, who was very young back then. And Christian was the top manager at Raymond Weil, in charge for America and other markets. Christian was always proud for having the better office than Mr. Raymond Weil himself. He had a very good position in the company, but he left the company together with his mother to found the new company Beda & Co. And yeah, we started talking because I found their watches super interesting, and we were talking about entering on the German market and developing that German market there. And in 1999, we went to Basel watch fair, and we presented the watches there, and I was there as well on the booth. Now, 1999 was the year when Rolex presented the Yachtmaster. Stainless steel, platinum bezel, platinum dial. And Patek had a brand new booth, and they presented the 5055, which was one of my favorites from that Basel fair. I know that it hasn't aged well. I will always have a soft spot for this particular watch. I just love the orientation of the complications. I like the simplicity of the case. I really love the watch. I didn't have the money to buy it. Otherwise, I would have ordered it. You could buy a Patek there without a problem. The 5055 also had the deployment buckle always with it, so you didn't have to pay it extra. Now, 1999, we showed the watches to interested clients, but very soon later it was clear that Christian and Madame Beda would sell their company to Gucci, and that happened the year later. So they sold the company to Gucci, and I was out of that discussion because I didn't have connections to Gucci, and Gucci wanted their own marketing team to be in charge with Beda & Co. Now, Christian and I, we had several conversations, but at the end of the day, we parted, just like gentlemen do. We parted amicably, and Christian just pulled his personal watch from his wrist and gifted it to me. So that was my watch here, the Beda & Co. number 7, with a beautiful extra slim Piguet 12 movement with a small second hand. I will show the movement in a second. Super expensive to make. Christian usually used ETA movements, ETA 2000 for his watches, but here for this and for another model he used that fancy Piguet movement the PG 12, manual wound, not automatic, super slim. Now, yeah, the years went by. Went by, and then I had burglars here in the house, and unfortunately, one of the watches that has been stolen was Christian Bedard's watch that he gifted to me, and of course, I was super sad. My 40th birthday was around the corner, and Mrs. Higgins was so kind to give me this watch. So I contacted Christian and told him I need another one of those because it has been stolen. The other one is still in the database of stolen watches, and so I got another one. So that is my gift for my 40th birthday now 20 years ago, and yeah, while we were talking about Bedard watches, I was reminded, and I pulled the watch out, and I'm wearing it at the moment and still love it. I will tell you a little bit about Bedard watches or what makes them special. So first of all, Christian was designing all those watches. You could say they look a little bit like Cartier watches. All Bedard watches are curved. Most of them are curved on the bezel, also the case mid, and also on the case back. So yeah, one specialty here of Bedard is here that line at 12 and at 6, which is not a straight line, but it's a kind of concave line, which gives the watch a certain dynamic, particularly when this line here at 3 and 6 is curved outside. So it's a tonneau shape, but here it's kind of inverted, which gives it a very, very nice dynamic. And I totally love those watches with those bows that are inverted a little bit. Now, something that was always a specialty for Bedard & Co. Is here that JQH dial. It is a stamp dial, I know that, but it gives a beautiful structure. And I've been talking to my friend, and she said, yeah, they look a little bit like Cartier, and you will see some Roman numerals very, very soon. But in my opinion, that those structured dials with that beautiful guillochage gives them a very special touch and a very special feeling, which is different to Cartier. Also, the curving is not as extreme as Cartier. They fit extremely well on the wrist. Now, you may have caught it already here. There is a kind of micro writing, just like with Cartier. Cartier usually has it at 7 or 8 with the Roman numerals. Here, Bedard & Co., they made it at 4. Here it says mécanique. Other watches are called automatique. And you can see here also BEDAT and CO. And that is their own seal of quality, AOSC. That is their AOSC. That is their own certification process that makes sure that all parts from Bedard watches are made and sourced in Switzerland. This is 100% Swiss, and everything is signed by that little Bedard & Co. logo, which is always their number 8. So the symbol here with Bedard & Co. and again micro writing here Bedard & Co. Just to make it more special and more difficult. So first of all, it's an 8. Then it's also a sand glass and a sand clock, and it is also a symbol for eternity, and it is a double B because Simon Bedard and Christian Bedard were the owners of the company. So there is a lot of symbolism here in the dial, and you will see that on all their watches. Now let me check here. Yeah, I've made a little bit of macro here. You can see the structure a little bit better. You can see, unfortunately, the minute hand is super scratched. Unfortunately, I had to send the watch back to Bedard because it kept on stopping, and the watchmaker that fixed the watch there scratched the minute hand I think I'm gonna have the watch serviced very soon, and I hope that I'm having an as good watchmaker as Alex is, and have those hands fixed. Here you can see the shape of the case again. Oh, 1 second. Here you can see the shape of the case again, with those beautiful rounded and curved lines. And I have another picture that shows a side view. Give me a second. I will try to pull that up here. Give me 1 second. Where is the side? Okay, here we have the side view. Yeah, here you have the side view, and you can see that the curvature of the case back is different than the case, and the curvature of the case is different than on the bezel. And I have another picture that hopefully shows you that. Oh, no, I don't have the picture here saved already. So you have to trust me that the bezel is a little bit more raised over the curvature of the mid case. Also, that beautiful crown with the Bedard & Co logo. I know that Christian is a big fan of the big crown of Rolex, so all the crowns on his watches are oversized and give that beautiful design on his watches. So here, in my opinion, here you can see the design of the case the best, with the oversized crown, very comfortable to wind, but you must be very careful, particularly with that Piguet 12 movement, because you can easily rip off the mainspring if you use too much force. So you have to stop when it's over. Here's the movement. I opened the watch today to check it. That is the Piguet 12 movement, Geneva stripe, no internal angles, but englage here on the sides. Keep in mind that it's a 20-year-old watch, and it's not high horology, but it's a beautiful little movement, and I'm excited having seen that. Now, the details here on those Bedard watches is also here. You can adjust the length of the leather strap without a tool here. So that little pin here is not fixed, and it runs, and with tension it holds the strap. I know that Cartier has a similar system, but Bedard was first, and this is a neat system. Also, the deployment buckle here has a safety lock, so you lock this buckle twice. Now, yeah, I wanted to show you the leather strap actually. And here, another sign of quality here, the stitching on the leather straps is super narrow. So Bedard used way more stitching than traditional leather strap makers, just to give the client a little bit of an extra quality. And so Christian really put a lot of effort into designing those watches. They're well thought, and really something special. Nobody knows them, I know that. I'm not out to sell those watches. You can actually find them very cheap on Chrono24, and I recommend you have a look at them, because they're really special watches, and I can't praise them enough. Now, of course, like you all know, usually I don't end up only buying one of those watches. So I bought another one for Mrs. Higgins here. That is a square watch. That is not a tonneau shape. That is a square shape, but with the black dial with the diamonds. So we have a set here for him and hers. And this is the pair. 1 second here. That is the pair. So Mrs. Higgins has that silk strap, and the square watch, I have the tonneau shape with those dynamic counter arches in concave. And yeah, that's it.
What's up,
And
Iggy?
hey, Tan.
Hey, man. Sorry I'm late. Sorry, I'm really late, actually.
I'm almost talked out.
No problem. No problem. No problem. Well, Jamie's asking, what is this, Iggy? What is this? What are we looking at?
That's my watch and my wife's watch. And I told the story. I mean, I've been talking now for half an hour about why this watch is special for me.
Ah, I see. Okay, so proof of Iggy having a girl-sized wrist.
Yeah. I think I posted a wrist shot.
Show me.
Here's a wrist shot. It's not too bad.
Oh, it actually looks nice.
Yeah, but it's on the small side. But now this is a sacrilege, and you will roast me for that. I get vintage Patek Philippe vibes. I know that Patek never did such a shape, but to me it looks like a vintage Patek.
I think you're thinking of like the 5111, like the Gondolo Pateks. I mean, they did some. I don't know about vintage, but neo vintage, I could say it would make sense. Neo vintage, sure.
Yeah.
No, it looks nice though, man. You know what I love to see is just a non-circular watch. It's just refreshing whenever you see them because in a sea of circular watches, non-circular is always it's always refreshing to see.
You don't like circular arguments anymore?
I'm trying to move away from circular logic. It's hard in the Archieverse, but you know what? For me, I think it's just refreshing to see something different. It's just we see too much of the same stuff all the time.
I agree with you. Yeah, and by the way, those hands. So the minute hand is scratched. I told the story. I had to return the watch to Beda because it always stopped, and the watchmaker totally screwed up that minute hand. However, the shape of the hour and the minute hand is also a special story because Christian and Simon are very good friends with one of the top jewelers in Geneva, and the company is called Benoit et Gorski. And Mr. Benoit, the owner of the jewelry store, he designed those hands, and those are goldsmith tools.
So did the watchmaker just scratch it up? Like what happened? Like it just looks like in the photo, it looks either scratched up or nicked up.
So the first watch I got gifted from the owner of the company, Christian Beda, as a party gift.
Any relation to Peter?
No relationship to Peter Beda. Christian and Simone Beda. Simone was the co-founder of Raymond Weil.
Ah, okay.
And she had shares. And her son Christian, super dynamic, super kind guy. He was the top honcho at Raymond Weil. He was the highest paid manager there, and he was proud of having the better office than Raymond Weil. And he had this James Bond style office where he could push a button and then a monitor came up and all this stuff. So he loved his office, but he and his mother left. They got a big payout and they founded their own watch company. And that was their baby. And Christian is a gifted watch designer, and he designed all those.
It's an interesting hand design for sure.
Yeah.
On the dial, is this the texture? Is it guilloche? What
yeah, it's guilloche and then lacquered.
Okay, cool.
And I had a discussion with a friend, and she told me, they're a little bit too similar to Cartier. And let me show you the collection, because I can see the criticism with the new watches. 1 second, I'm just pulling up a number 3 here. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
So yeah. They're now focusing on ladies' watches mostly, but I really like that one here. So it looks a little bit like Cartier, but the base is always that guilloche pattern with a lacquer on. So it's more silverish, and it's not really like Cartier.
Yeah, I think just from afar, design-wise, that looks pretty, especially with the Roman numerals, it's pretty bang on Cartier. So I understand why they say that, but it's not a bad-looking watch.
Yeah. So, and if you check on Chrono 24, they're really cheap. By the way, Beda also always was very keen in designing steel watches set with diamonds, and that was always one of the main point that's stood apart from all the other watch manufacturers, because when you wanted to have diamonds, you had to buy gold.
Would you accept a watch that's steel with diamonds?
Why not?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's a pretty inferior metal, right? Like you said, most of the time jewelry is in precious metal with diamonds. The pairing of diamonds and steel is in the jewelry industry is not as common, you could say, or it's not as common for like high luxury. So if we're talking about high luxury, like steel and diamonds isn't exactly the best combo.
Look, let's see pragmatic. Such a watch, how often is it being worn?
A watch like this?
Yeah.
Very infrequently, I would say.
Diamond encrusted, maybe 5 times a year.
Yeah, easily.
So why spend so much money on a precious metal watch that looks very similar to steel when you can have it for half of the price?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for the budget, I agree with you. I think that if you're using it for, just like we described, a special occasion, if I'm using something for a special occasion, I want it to be special. And steel just wouldn't do it for me in that case. I'd have to go gold.
Yeah, you're this old money, old fashioned taste, and we can't change you.
I'm learning High German, by the way. The rumor is that your accent is very like High German. It's like
that is a total that is totally wrong. Actually, I was rewatching. So for the audience, I appeared on Watch Ragazzi, which is a German watch channel.
Yep.
And I was speaking German, and that was breaking news. Higgins is speaking in his mother tongue the first time. And I was rewatching it, and I was shocked. I'm living here now in northern Germany for most of the time in my life, and I thought that I adapted pretty well. And my southern German accent doesn't go through anymore. And I was shocked to hear that you can still hear that I'm from southern Germany.
It was just a real treat for us to hear you actually do watch talk in German, which it was funny because you do it so much in English that I think you needed to like just think about it for a minute before you started, because you're just used to it in English, I guess.
Not sure what AD Never Calling is referring to. So he says, maybe I'll get Mrs. AD one of these. Go for it. And at the moment, one second, let me pull up here Chrono 24. If you're searching for a small ladies watch, there is the bargain of the century, but it's small. One second, Chrono 24. Keep on talking.
Sure. We got a lot of folks in the chat. Just want to say hi to Paddock Chris, who says, howdy, Higgy and 10. Nice to see you, Paddock Chris. Obviously, AD Never Calling joining us. We got DeMarco. We got Jamie Oppens, Whole Milk. All good people. We got Michael W. from Hamburg, who's from the German streams, joining us as well. And
it's not Michael W. It's Michael V.
Michael V. Sorry.
Yeah.
We got Sturdy Danny, who says these watches mean nothing if you don't have the right pants to go with them. Ain't that right, Patrick? And we got our good friend Muhammad Ali in the chat, who says Dream Team Watch Talk is live. Thank you, Muhammad Ali. Appreciate that.
I think he's referring to you about the Dream Team part.
No, he meant me in Swiss. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So here, this is a Bedar number 3, steel with diamonds and metal bracelet, $1,000.
Is the guilloche hand guilloche, or is it like stamped?
No, it's stamped.
Okay. Yeah.
It's stamped, but it's diamond crusted, has small scratches here, but I think that is a super bargain. The watch is 27 millimeters, so it's on the smaller side.
It's an interesting bracelet to put this on as well.
Yeah.
You know, personally, I'd be looking on this for a strap. I wouldn't be. But this bracelet's very this is actually very blingy, because the same bracelet they have on the Navitimer, and man, that Navitimer, a colleague of mine has a 46 Navitimer Blue, and that bracelet just sparkles, and it's very blingy. So it looks very similar to it.
You can also remove the bracelet and put a silk strap on, just like Mrs. Higgins did with hers. How do you like that one?
Yeah, I think it'd be very classy with it. Yeah, oh yeah. These are nice, man. I didn't know what I was looking at when you said it was yours. I said, they look very, very nice.
Yeah, the collection of Higgy has depth. It's full with weird pieces.
Well, not a lot of people know all your pieces either. This is what I find so interesting is if you don't know what Higgy has in his collection and he starts criticizing things, it just makes it more fun when you actually know what he's got. Because, when he goes after the Royal Oak, I'm like, listen, motherfucker, I know you have a Royal Oak. Don't even act like that with the Royal Oak. And,
what are you talking about?
Well, Royal Oak diver. Fine. Diver. Steel with diamonds is okay with Patek Philippe, says Patek Chris. He says that's the only way it's okay is if it's with Patek or AP. AP could do it, I'd say.
By the way, 1999, when I was in Basel presenting those Bidar and Co watches, the hot new model at Patek was the 24.
Right when they had just copied the Tank Français from Cartier, right? Yeah.
Shame on them.
Yeah, look, there's so much copying going around, but these watches that you have on the screen are very lovely. I think they'd be great with, honestly, either a suit or even just with a sweater. I think just a nice sweater, this would look nice.
Yeah.
Very simple, different design than a circular watch. If you want something different, right? You got a whole
something else, yeah.
Yeah, you got a box in front of you with all watches that look the same. Throw this on. Why not?
Exactly, but that was exactly the idea that Christian had. He said, "Yeah, let's just do something different." He didn't want to do the mainstream.
Patek Chris wanted to show you his tennis watch for the Australian Open. We have it here on the screen. It's a Rolex Oyster Flex. Looks like an Oyster Flex
Wimbledon dial?
No, it looks like a Yachtmaster. Yachtmaster.
Ah, Yachtmaster, okay. I remember the Yachtmaster was presented in platinum with a platinum dial, and Christian was crazy when he saw it, and he said, "That is my new watch. I'm gonna get it after it's at the ADs." And back then, you could get it. You were just waiting until Christmas, and then you could get the brand new Rolex model that has been presented in Basel.
It's just so foreign to me that people are waitlisted for a Yachtmaster. It's just I don't know what kind of bizarro world I woke up in, but that's just wild to me.
So Serdi Danny is asking for pants now from Patek, from Patrick.
He says these watches mean nothing if you don't have the right pants to go with them. Ain't that right, Pat? I mean, it's the style, Higgy. It's the style.
No. You're not getting those in jokes.
Tell me the in joke then.
So, Watch Nicholas yesterday made a charity show.
Yep.
And Patrick has no money, and
he sold the Lululemons. Yes.
He sold some Lululemons to pay for the charity.
Shit.
That is the insider joke.
Well, look, the best part is no one has picked up. Now, while Patrick has been selling his Lululemons on eBay, Patrick has also been doing consignment for Watch Nicholas. He successfully sold Watch Nicholas's Burberry shirt to Red Shovel. The shirt that Red Shovel's been wearing all over the Miami trip was sold by Patrick via consignment for Watch Nicholas.
I think that is fake news. No disrespect to Red Shovel, but he's a little bit chubbier than Watch Nicholas. I don't think that it would fit.
Nasty and vicious there, Higgy. Nasty and vicious.
Well, sorry. I have to say that.
So, how was the show? I'm sorry I came late, man. It was just I got real busy in the afternoon.
Well, I've been talking about the 222.
Mm-hmm.
As you do.
Yep, the steel one, yeah. Everyone's talking about it. What do you like? I didn't catch it, so let me just talk about it real quick for me. I mean, look, Vacheron in the sports ring, it's never really been a thing. The 222 was never historically significant. I really don't see it. I get it. It's a steel watch. Everyone's going to go nuts for it. But here's the thing, Higgy. Very few people are talking about its size, right? That's the first thing everybody looks at. What's the size? Everybody just ignores that this is a 37. And everyone's like, oh, I have to get it. Well, what do you mean you have to get a 37 now? The same people who said, oh, the 37 is too small are now gravitating to wanting to buy this watch. It boggles my mind.
Well, the hype group is moving over.
Maybe watches are getting smaller. Maybe they're moving over. I don't know. I think 37's fine. I think it's a bit small for a sports watch, but
it depends a little bit. I remember in 2022 when the Gold Watch was presented, it was a very funny situation. I was doing the show together with Swiss, and there were strong hints that Vacheron would present the 222 because they had that bezel shape in their teasers. And they had a 2 in their teaser, and it was clear as day for me that they would present a 222. And Swiss, until the show opened, he said, no, they're not going to do that. No, you're wrong. So Then he saw it in gold, and he had hope that they would do it in steel, and he was so disappointed because it was so expensive, 80,000. He was hoping for a price less than 50 for the gold, and probably something like 20 or 25 for a steel watch. And he was so super gutted because he loved the watch, and it fit his wrist. But solid gold was out of the question. So I'm really asking myself, is now Swiss on the hype train, or is it still too expensive for a steel watch? Has he changed his mind? So I would like to know what his thoughts are.
Look, I think short term it's going to be unobtainium. It's going to be hard for you to get. GMT. It's going to be hard to get initially, but if you kind of look at what's happening, so the original 222, like you mentioned, is trading under retail right now. Overseas are sinking, even the boutique one, low 20s, high teens for an overseas 45. Like, I can't see a Vacheron staying hyped for a long time. It doesn't matter if this is steel. Yes, first year, maybe year and a half, it's going to be unobtainium. After that, guys, if you like this watch, you're going to get it. I think its size is going to limit a lot of people, and a lot of people are just going to be like, nah, 37 is too small for me, and they just won't gravitate to it.
Yeah, and the movement is not really something that makes me excited. And I think the price is crazy, but something that I read today over and over, people are saying this is the predecessor to the overseas. Well, there was a watch called Phidias in between, which is totally forgotten. Nobody remembers that even. That is the Phidias.
Oof.
And that came after the 222. That it was even worse to sell than the 222.
This is the point I'm making is Vacheron, like the integrated bracelet, like sports watch, it's not, everybody seeks a Royal Oak from Vacheron. Everybody does. Just because their lineup is outside of that is primarily dress watches. And look, they just have never been this kind of a brand where it was popular. It's not going to be popular today. I love the overseas. Don't get me wrong. I know Higgins may not be the best fan of him. I like them. However, look, it'll never be a Royal Oak, and I think you're just going to be longing for a Royal Oak. So my recommendation to everybody is usually just get a Royal Oak. Like, don't settle unless you really want a Vacheron. Don't. Or
get a Chapek.
Nah. I'll get a Vacheron over Chapek myself. But I mean, think about it. Chapeks are almost the same price. If you can get an overseas at like 19 grand, like how much is an Antarctique on the secondary right now? Like
around 17.
Okay, so $2,000 more, you can get an overseas like the one Muhammad Ali has. I would buy that all day long at that price.
No, the Chapek is much better.
Oh fuck!
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Here we go. Phoenix brand versus Trinity.
The guy who designed this overseas now designs for Parmigiani, right? I don't know. I read the name. I know that this guy also designed for Bedard & Co. Recently. I don't know if he designs for Parmigiani. I can't tell you that. Patek Chris. But I think it's a very fair point to make a comparison with the overseas, which I think it's $10,000 euros cheaper than the 222. And I think it's a legitimate question if it's really worth the price difference.
I mean, if you were to ask me, Tam, would you get a 222 steel or would you get an overseas? Value for money, I'd be going with the overseas for value for money at that point. 222 is just a cooler piece because it's like hype.
Not value for money. Buy what you like, what your heart makes your heart
I like both
sing.
of them, right? I don't dislike either one. So if I was sitting there looking at two watches that I both like, I'll look at what's a better bang per buck watch, and I really do feel that the 4500V or even the updated one that they've just released, like I think those are better value than the 222. I think the 222 size is going to limit it in the long run. Maybe not in the short run, but in the long run, people are not going to want a 37. Just like, for example, you want to know something interesting? The 15202, the jumbo, the actual like main Royal Oak, most people don't even like it anymore. Like I asked Archie, like 15202 versus 15510, the new one, three-hander, and everybody on the panel, including him, were like 510, 5. Nobody wanted the old jumbo, even though the jumbo is historically more accurate, but this looks, it's smaller. They don't want 39. And they're complaining about that, let alone a 37.
But the 15202, does it still have the JLC movement? I think they moved now to their in-house movement.
The 16202 has the new movement. The 15202 still has JLC.
Okay, but 15202 is super limited as far as I know.
I mean, they ran it for a long time. You have a white dial, there's a blue dial.
Yeah, but can you buy it still? No.
No, it's not available at the AD.
Yeah,
but
only in platinum or
yeah,
yellow
but
gold or something.
but
Yeah.
secondary market. I mean, you're in the 50K range. I mean, that's slightly higher than 15,510. But you got, like you said, the jumbo original 39 millimeter size. You got the JLC historic movement. Like it's a slimmer watch. Now it's not screw down crown. It's pushing crown. I get it, but a lot of people just are like hating on it for its slimness, for its size. That's where I'm looking at the Vacheron 222, and I'm like, yes, initially there's going to be a big hype train. However, I feel in the long run, the size at 37 is going to just turn people off.
I don't disagree with you, but can you imagine how bad sales are at the moment for Vacheron?
Yeah, I mean, I can assume they're not great, but I think
I think they rushed.
Well,
They rushed the 222 in steel. I think the plan was to wait a little bit longer, but I think that is a sign of the bad markets that they pushed now the 222 in steel. What is your thought about the tapering of the bracelet?
I actually, it's a little aggressive. I would have gone a little bit less tapering. You see how it gets right to the clasp? It gets very, very thin. I just would have tapered it a little less. However, I dislike bracelets that don't taper. Omega Seamaster is a classic example. I hate that bracelet. I think that bracelet should have tapered. I love the new Speedmaster because it tapers. I think this tapering is a little too aggressive.
Yeah, I think that it's too aggressive. And do you think the extreme tapering has something to do with bean counters who are striving to save a couple of grams of gold?
Well, I mean, this isn't gold, right? This is steel. So.
Yes, but traditionally it comes from the gold model.
I don't think it's that purpose. I think it's just design. I think that they felt it would be more elegant. It's a smaller watch, right? So it's got to have a bit of a thinner bracelet. You don't want to have this big chunky bracelet on a 37 mil, which in all honesty is interesting about the 40 mil Explorer. I would have hoped that the clasp is a little big on that one. I would have hoped it would have been a little bit smaller, but yeah, it just the proportions could be a little off here. What do you think about those links? Do you think that those? Like, do you think it's gonna? How do you think this bracelet's gonna age over time?
I don't know. Everybody is praising how smooth and well designed the bracelet is. They're talking about the gold watch, and I hope that Vacheron is able to maintain that quality now on the steel watch, because it is a big difference to make a smooth gold bracelet. It's not easy to make a steel bracelet with the same quality, with the same feel.
Yeah, I mean, ever since you told me that comment around, hey, like check out Royal Oak bracelets over time, I was always curious to see how these vintage 222s had like aged and how the bracelets held up.
I haven't seen many that aged very badly, but on the other side, it's an ugly watch. And probably it hasn't been worn a lot. What do you think about that here? I saw this on the Rolex forum, a vintage square 222. The bolts are certainly Marmite, I would say. But I didn't know that they made a square one. The similarity to the Cubitus is striking, in my opinion. And now it comes the question: now that Patek made a square watch in a similar matter, do you think that Vacheron will be pushing that as well?
I think the square was a very bold statement for Patek Philippe to do in a market that's not popular for square watches. If any brand could make square popular, it's either Patek or Rolex. So it is an interesting question, because I do feel that if the other brands see the Cubitus catching fire, they likely will copy it. And I honestly, when you brought this up, I thought in my mind, I was like, this is a good looking Cubitus. This is a better looking Cubitus.
It is a better looking Cubitus. Exactly. Let's be honest.
Exactly right. So you're right. Like,
no crown guards.
Yeah, it's a cool looking watch. I actually like this a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's possible that they would do it, but they'll only do it if it picks up. And the market has been definitely pretty negative around the Cubitus, so I don't think it's something they're going to pursue right now.
You know what is funny? I sent that picture to Russ, and he wrote me back, "Oh, I love this so much." And then I told him, man, I don't like the screws. And then he replied, now that you told me, you ruined that watch for me.
Yeah,
come on, those bolts are really off.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely noticeable like that. But for me, as you're looking at it as a whole, like I would say to Russ, if he didn't notice it off the off the first glance, it's probably not noticeable, and you're probably just
But
being a little
come on, they are sticking out. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. But without those bolts, it would be a much better watch. Wouldn't you agree?
It's interesting too. This watch has lume. It gives me obviously those hands look very Datejust. Give me Datejust vibes on the hands, which is pretty nice. Yep. Sorry, you can click that one. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Mr. GMT Higgins, can you tell Tan my thoughts on the new 222? Actually, he loves it, but he says it's way too expensive for him. And the rest I didn't hear because his audio was crap.
Honestly, GMT, I think this watch is like, if you look at the 222 in gold, it's under retail right now. I think this watch is going to sink after its initial year and a half of a big pull, I guess, up on the market. But I think after that, people are going to forget about it. It's going to be small. Honestly, GMT, the 222 probably will fit you a lot nicer at that 37 mils. But we're just going to have to overcome everybody else looking at it like a 37 mil watch, unfortunately.
I think Mr. GMT is just trying to suck up to Swiss because he knows how much Swiss loves that watch.
Well, we know Swiss is a big VC fan, so it's not surprising that Swiss would like it. Basil's is saying, I like this Vacheron. Not love, but I like it. Yeah, I think that's about. I think it's fair.
Yeah, but so I guess he's talking about the round one. The problem is the problem is.
For fuck's sake, man! I give you one job to tell Tan what I think of the watch and why I think it's the reason why they brought it out now, and you couldn't even fucking do that.
I didn't care what you said. I was just pulling up the next page.
Well, can we
hear? For fuck's sake, Tan.
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. I'd love to hear your opinion.
All right. The reasoning shut the fuck up. You had your chance. the reasoning why I think, right, that they brought the 222 out now than previously was because the Nautilus is big, as the metal Nautilus has come off our market. So there's no more metal Nautilus, right? Mm-hmm. So I think they're trying to jump on that train and get those buyers that wanted the Nautilus, can't get the Nautilus, to get this. Because they've got similar vibes.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, GMT, and probably what Vacheron is thinking. Like that, at the brand themselves, they're probably like, yes, huge market for integrated, steel watches. Pull it up a blue dial and steel. It's gonna be. Of
course, he's wrong because that Vacheron is tiny compared to a Nautilus.
Well, that was
but listen, they know what they're targeting. They're trying to target.
They are desperate. They're desperate.
No, they're not. They're smart. It's called smart business, mate. All right, they're bringing out something that people want to fulfill because the other thing is not there anymore. It's smart.
I think GMT is absolutely right, though, Higgins. There is going to be that buyer that's going to be like, I can't get a Nautilus, I can't get a Royal Oak. Maybe I'm going to go for this, and maybe there's less people chasing it. So absolutely, it's the same reason.
To be honest, I can't focus on what Mr. GMT says because it sounds like he's drowning.
Oh well, too bad. I'm out. Ciao. Stay sexy.
See you, bro.
Fuck you, Higgins.
See you. Yeah, but look, you're right. You're right in the terms.
He's so triggered.
look at the size. You're right on the size. Look at the size. This is a small watch. Like,
yeah,
I just can't see people, grasping for this in their watch box. I mean, that Tudor Black Bay 54 is such a nice watch, and most people won't even consider it because of the size. So if they're not even going to consider a sub $3,000 or $2,000 watch, like, let alone something that's going to be this expensive, I don't see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Many people and it's 3 years ago that Vacheron presented that in gold, and many people smelled a trend.
Yeah,
watches are getting smaller. 37 is the new 40. Didn't really happen yet, so that is a problem. Now, should they make it bigger? I don't know if that would fly. So they're now locked to that size, and I agree with you. In the long run, it will hurt them. In the next year or two, people will go crazy and buy it. In my opinion, it's overpriced, and the hype will die down very soon.
I just want to talk about one point you just said. So you said watches are going smaller, and I don't think that we hear that a lot. I think it's watch tastes are going smaller. And a lot of people don't want to hear that because they feel it's being driven by the watch industry to make smaller watches. People say watches are going smaller. They're not. it's watch tastes that are going small. And I'll tell you why. Right? Why I say this. If you really think about it, years ago, not too long ago, a lot of people probably listening to the show or listen to other shows would have bought a deep sea dweller or a deep sea, probably without really thinking. And a lot of folks have realized that watches above 42 millimeters, sports watches above 42 millimeters, are just not wearable by most people. And people are now, the tastes have now shifted. I'd say in sport watches between 38 and 42 millimeters. And then when you go to a dress watch, like when you see a dress watch that's 43 mils, 42 mils, those are big dress watches.
Yeah.
Dress watches, I think tastes of dress watches are between 36 and 40 right now. I don't think watches are going smaller. I think just the tastes are becoming a lot more tailored and to fit basically.
I think you're trying to tailor the narrative here. It's very simple. Going down in sizes means going away from 46, but going to 37 on an integrated sports watch is a stretch. There is a huge margin between 37 and 46. So, of course, the extremes are people are going back, but will they go back that far to 37? That is the big question.
I think it's gradual, right? I think once you go from 46 to 42, let's say 42 is the new normal, right? Most people, I think, would be okay with a 40. I'm wearing a 42 right now. Most people, wearing a Speedy like I am, 42 is just fine. But you're right. Like they probably have dialed it back from 46 to 42. But I think that's where the scale just gets reset. And then maybe they start seeing that, that because even you told me yourself, a moon watch is too big for you.
Yeah.
So therefore, you yourself are probably going to seek smaller than 42 anyways.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to become more acceptable to do that. And, people, if you're wearing a watch that's way too big, it's just going to look awful. And wear something that's a proper size. You don't have to wear something that's massive, even if it's small. Like, as long as it looks good on you, why do you care that it's like, a small watch? It shouldn't matter.
Why doesn't Mr. GMT have a wrench? Once again, to Esper Safari.
I don't know, man. You always abuse GMT in the chat here, so let's give him a wrench.
Yeah, you think I should continue that?
Nah, I think he deserves a wrench. While you do that, I'll pull up this comment from 3HR who says 39 mils is a better size. Yeah, I love 39 mils on a dress watch. 39 mils on a sports watch is just fine. I think 38 and a half is like the sweet spot size for a dress watch. I mean, look, Lange got it right. Lange won 38 and a half mils. They got it spot on. It's one of my favorite sizes. It's the size of my world time. 3HR, I think your 5935 is a 40. I don't think it's above 40. And that's a complicated watch. That's a world time chronograph. And yeah, I think it's either 39 or 40, but I don't think it's above 40. So I think
Mr. GMT, you have now a super wrench. Behave. Next time you curse me out, that wrench is gone.
Oh yeah, that'll be gone then in 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry for just prolonging your show. I know it's getting super late for you as well. Feel free to.
No problem. No. I'm enjoying that conversation. I mean, I was running out of gas half an hour ago.
Oh jeez, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'd love to hear. Like Archie saw his 5935 in London, salmon dial, beautiful watch. It's in steel. I was trying to get one of those last year.
That is the world timer chronograph, isn't it?
That's right. The one that's steel. Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful watch. Archie was blown away. He's like, oh my God, like he'd never seen a world time chronograph in his life before. So
he couldn't stop talking about it when we were in the Bro House. I remember that.
Yeah, 3HR, because a few of us had like Higgins had his world time. I brought my world time. I think Jamie's the only one who just was too scared to bring his for some reason. But yeah. My 25860 ST is 39 mils. I see. Very good. Very good indeed. I just think this 222 is too small, man. Even on this wrist is too small. It's just not. It's not doing it for me.
Yeah, but it will bring them in some numbers for Vacheron. So I'm happy for them. Do you think they will put a two-tone?
Oh, of course, they're gonna milk this. They're gonna milk this like they do with the overseas. Look at the overseas lineup. It's like everything is an overseas. Like,
yeah,
I just want a few overseas. I don't want like 30 overseas. It's nobody who buys these other overseas anyways. Like, just get the regular one like this. Just the basic one. Like,
actually, have you seen me trolling in the comments at Watch Ragazi?
No, I'm gonna. I'll probably watch that in a little bit.
I was rewatching the show, and right at the beginning, I wrote, "My wish for 2024 is a two-tone cubitus."
Well, they already have a two-tone cubitus. They already have one. What do you mean?
Yes, but I was making it look like I wish it for a two-tone cubitus for me.
Oh, well, I'd love to get you.
And
I think Rush should help you get a two-tone cubitus. That's for you, man.
I don't want to. I think that is the most ridiculous cubitus of them all.
Let me ask you an honest
super
question.
expensive. It's super ugly, super conservative.
Let me ask you an honest question. Yeah. If you had the money, and if Russ got you an allocation today, would you buy the two-tone cubitus?
No.
Not even a resale.
Because
not even a resale.
I would only buy it to sell with a profit, and I won't do that for.
Oh, come on, man! Like, you can just call me up and I'll pay $5 more over retail, no problem.
Did you hear about the new name for Kesselowitz?
No, what do you guys call Kessel now?
Flipowitz.
Look, I mean, Kessel, he was honest about that from right off the rip. He said, "Look, guys, I'm buying this to flip it. I'm not trying to keep this." Well, apparently he sold it. Apparently it's gone now.
Actually, I wanted to have a segment about this particular watch, but I think it's too late because I would. So we were discussing this watch, and somebody said it's an in-house movement. I think this Watchnik guy, and I have high doubts that this is an in-house movement. I'm pretty sure the automatic part of that movement is Lajou Perret, and I can prove it. So maybe on the next show.
We got a question or comment from Thomas Burnett. Question: do you think now that the 222 is in steel, that the gold reissue will come down in the secondary market? What do you think, Iggy baby?
For sure, and I think it will hurt the sales of the solid gold as well.
Honestly, for me, Tom, I would err on the side of getting the gold one. I like the gold one personally. It's a bit different. And yeah, I mean, they're under retail right now, Tom. So yeah, definitely I could see them going down.
But they will further drop, I'm pretty sure.
Everyone's going to gravitate to this.
I think it will be hard for the Vacheron people to sell the gold now.
Yeah. But look, this is it's a cool piece. It's got history. It's a good talking piece. This is the kind of watch I would see someone wear at Watch Time New York. They're going to leave their sub and their Pepsi in the box, and they're going to put on their 222. Is what I
was showing previously the original 222, and here you can see that the date is now a little bit more towards the center and doesn't hit the minuterie anymore. On the old 222, they had that problem. One second, let me try to find a picture. Here it is. Here on the original 222, the window was a little bit more outside. And they fixed that. Not sure which one I would prefer, but just one little detail.
Let me ask you a question. If the watch came out, and let's say the Vacheron kind of does a pump fake with us. They do release a 222 in steel, but they release it in 39 mils. How do you think that's going to be received?
Much better than the 37, I would guess.
So why do you think that they would continue to pursue this?
Because they are Vacheron. Sometimes I really have the feeling that they don't want to sell watches.
I don't personally understand it. Honestly, I don't really get how half the people in the watch industry have jobs.
I think the only reason why they wouldn't do it in 39 is because they have that tiny movement. That movement is 26 millimeters. And it would look even more ridiculous if the case would be then 2 millimeters wider.
Yeah, it's true.
I can imagine that's the only reason why they didn't opt for 39. I mean, 39 is not super big, but 37 is extreme. So I understand, keep it faithful and everything, but they didn't keep it faithful with the movement anyhow. So why not increasing? But then you have the problem, you have that tiny movement, and then that date will be even more in the center, because then the dial will be bigger, the crystal will be bigger, but the position of that date stays. But because they can't move that outside because they have that tiny movement. Mm-hmm. Probably that is the reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Look, I think it would be a hit in 39. I'm like you said, I really don't understand why they wouldn't bring it out in 39. Yeah, it's not as accurate to the original as possible. But look. It's also more contemporary. It's in a contemporary size. And like you said, would sell a heck of a lot more watches in that 39 than a 37. Yeah. So I really don't get it.
And cannibalism against the overseas is not an argument because this is 10,000 euros more.
That's
so
true.
Why are you afraid of this watch cannibalizing your your overseas? Go for it.
By the way, the nice people at Watch Ragazzi had promoted our show, so I've actually linked the current show to the Ragazzi. So whenever you do end, we can send our viewers over there. So a little bit.
Thank you, but I think they're doing a show in 2 days.
No, they're doing a show right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they're live. But yeah, look, they promoted us. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to remember Michael's name, how to pronounce it in German. Michael from Hamburg, really nice guy from over there. So yeah, want to give him a shout out.
Who is Mathis? Mathis is not the assaulter.
Nah, it's not Mathis. Chris, did you get the 5170? No, I'm probably gonna pick something up next month in February.
How about the AP?
Yeah. So I called Higgins like yesterday, the day before. I said, Higgins, you're gonna hate me, and he's like, why? I said, look, I may buy a Royal Oak, and he's like, I'm gonna roast you. I'm like, why? Like, you own a Royal Oak. Like, why are you roasting me when you don't even have a nice one? You have the fucking diver, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I like the Royal Oak. I've always liked the Royal Oak. I don't know. I know you don't like them that much, but I really do like them. They're terrible. They're not good value watches.
The main problem, and I know how peculiar you are with your watches. Mm-hmm. If you have a Royal Oak and you will scratch that bezel, you will be whining on the phone every day.
The first scratch. After that, I won't care. Thomas Burnett, I feel that the main attraction of the 222 is the bracelet. In gold, I think it's a banger, but in steel, I think that you could spend $3,000 and buy Atelier Van Perception to scratch that itch. Yeah. That's why I personally would go with gold myself, Tom. The steel is just not that appealing to me. It's a nice watch. I know a lot of people are going to gravitate to it. It's just, in the long run, I just think it's just going to be too small for most people. But if you do have a small wrist, this is probably a very nice one to get if you can get it on a good price.
Thomas, would you get this watch? The 222?
I just can't see Tom wearing this.
I know that Tom really likes the 222. He liked the gold watch, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. But it's such an insane price that I have doubts.
I could see Tom buying it in the gold because the gold would be special, right? Like in the steel. Like I said, I would personally be going for an overseas. I wouldn't be going for this. And Tom says not in steel. He wouldn't buy it in steel.
Okay, just let me do something here. Just texting to Mathis.
Yeah, no problem. Shout out to Mathis, man. We love Mathis.
Mathis, man. He's driving to Miami. Okay.
Hope he's well. Haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh, he's... For sure, he is. So okay.
But yeah, so Tom is saying he wouldn't get it in steel. Tom, if you're gonna get this in gold. Like I said, I really like the overseas in steel. And look, the overseas, if you're okay with not getting the blue dial, you get so much more savings if you go for like the silver dial or I don't know if it's silver or white dial. Like one of those dials are way cheaper, and just you get the same watch basically, just different dial.
What is your opinion about Atelier Van?
Well, I have the same comment as the person in the chat who says that I love Atelier Van and my hat collection. From Daniel Hats.
You really like it?
Nah, not really. I was joking with our good friend Daniel Hats. I just like this avatar because it's that.
Yeah, a little bit creative, yeah.
But that's what he's saying. He said, if you just spend the $3,000 and buy an Atelier Van, Perception, like that's what I would agree with. Is like if you like the design, then get something cheaper, but. This is just going to be way too much money for a watch that I think is not going to hold up after a few years.
I'm really looking forward to see that steel bracelet because, just like I said previously, I think it's not easy. It's easy to make that gold bracelet feel good, but it's very difficult to make the steel bracelet similarly valuable. And I'm hearing nothing than praise about the gold bracelet. I hope that they manage to move that over to the steel one.
Look, Chris is saying I enjoy VC's astronomical complications pieces. Of course, I doubt I'd ever buy. For me, Chris, I like the métier d'art at VC. I like the artwork that they do there. That's probably the only major area I like to look at for VC outside of the auto overseas like the one Mohammed has, or just basic dress watches. They just don't have a lot of depth in their collection, and I really don't think that adding this at a 37 mil is going to add depth. You add this at a 39 mil, you're going to add depth to the collection, but 37, I don't think it's going to appeal to too many.
My favorite Vacheron is that dual beat. I don't know the proper name. The one with the two escapements that you can put on energy save modus.
I don't even know that one.
You don't know that?
No.
I'm trying to pull that up. That one, the JQH. Come on, it's twin beat perpetual calendar. Have a look at that.
Did it win like the actual GPHE or like?
No. In the category, I think for complication or something. Once again,
if it's not Aiguille d'Or, I'm not. I need the Aiguille d'Or. That's it, man.
Yeah, but Swiss and I we like that. So the special thing about this watch is it has two escapements as far as I remember, or only two balance wheels. So can we have a look here on the movement, gentlemen?
Yep.
1 second here. Plus. You can't see the movement. What is that?
No, I don't know.
I can't believe it. Okay, so basically what you can do here is with that button here, you can switch between 5 Hertz and 1.2 Hertz.
Oh, interesting.
So when you switch to 1.2 Hertz, the accuracy is not that high, but your power reserve is up to 65 days. While in the normal mode with 5 Hertz, which is El Primero frequency, it's 4 days.
Very cool.
Yeah. So very complicated. Also perpetual calendar, but I think it's around 200,000.
I'm really interested. Look at the bridge, man. Those bridges look very dark. Like what material are they using?
Well, it looks like they're coated. I'm not sure if they're black nickeled or PVD coated. Let's have a look.
It's interesting.
Details, caliber. Doesn't say.
By the way, Dirk Diggler, this is what happens when you don't do your homework.
I didn't do a homework here for Vacheron.
This is usually what happens. This happens for me when I don't do my homework.
Yeah, exactly.
While you're doing that, Patrick says Jack Forster had a great article on the VC astronomical comps in the very first Hodinkee magazine. Interesting. Okay.
Jack Forster was a genius. He was annoying me at the beginning because he was only showing those super expensive watches, but I learned a lot from the guy. Super passionate.
Cool, man. Well, I got to run. I got to get back a few things.
I got to run as well. So I think we're ending the show. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for joining me, Mr. GMT. I hope that everybody had fun here in the comments, and thank you very much for watching. Please,
one last word, guys, right before you just end there, Higgy. We are going to be linking you to a show called Watch Ragazzi. It is a German show. However, they do switch to English if you chat in English, and they do love talking to everybody in English as well. So check them out. But they did promote Higgy, so I'm going to promote them for a second here. Now you have the final.
Thank you very much. Can I enter the stream, or do we have something? Do we have to do something special?
No, you just end the stream. We're good. It'll automatically move people over. You're good.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Talk to you another time. Please upvote, subscribe, and tell your friends. Bye-bye.
Bye now.